It's official, the spooky season has begun. What I said was absolutely true. The spooky season has begun. I'm just back from the Colorado Festival of Horror, which was September 9th through 11th, or maybe 8th through 11th if you count the screening of Lloyd Kaufman's new movie on the Thursday, the 8th. Anyway, by the time you see this, you'll have already seen my con report. That was a great time and a great way to kick off the spooky season. The other sign of the spooky season, of course, is the opening of all of the Spirit Halloween stores. I missed the grand opening of mine because I've been busy. I've been dealing with convention things and putting on some shows that I'm doing with the Rocky Mountain Paranormal Research Society. But Dr. McCoy and I have finally found a little bit of free time, so we're headed over to Spirit Halloween right now. I'm gonna go inside. Hopefully they'll let me film. I'll bring my camera in and look around and see what sort of wonderful offerings they have for this year, for 2022. It's always a good time. Spirit Halloween is like my home away from home, so this should be a lot of fun. One other thing to just sort of keep in mind is last year there were a lot of supply chain issues in the Spirit Halloween stores. While still great, I have no complaints, but they were struggling to get a lot of their props, particularly the larger animatronics. They were having trouble keeping everything in stock or even getting it in stock. So I'm really hopeful that this year all of the pandemic-provoked supply chain issues have sort of leveled out a little bit, and hopefully it'll be a well-stocked store. So we're on our way. We're gonna find it. Last year I also had two right next to my house. This year I only have the one, the bigger one. So I'm really hopeful that we got a good show at Spirit Halloween. I have to say, I'm getting close to the Spirit Halloween now, and traffic out here, you can't see it because I got the camera pointed at myself, but traffic out here is a lot heavier than I expected for this time in the afternoon, about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Around here there's always traffic, but I'm wondering if it's everyone heading off to the Halloween store. I'm sure it's not, but that's what I prefer to think. Okay, that was kind of fun. I'm just pulling into the parking lot for the Spirit Halloween now, and there's a homeless guy standing on the corner begging money. And he took one look at Dr. McCoy, and I think we gave him a bit of a fright. And I'm not saying I like to scare homeless people, I just like to scare people in general, so that was kind of funny. But anyway, we're here. I'm pulling into the Spirit Halloween right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn the camera off, and then I'll disconnect it from my car and I'll head inside, and as I said, hopefully they'll let me film inside. And there it is, the exterior of the Promised Land. They did in fact let me film inside, and you're gonna see me walk inside now. And I'm doing this, of course, all in voiceover because there's some copyrighted music in the background, though you will be hearing some of the animatronics. I'll cut in little bits of the audio so you can hear some of what the animatronics do. The entrance looks pretty good with this pumpkin-headed guy and this sort of plague doctor. I've forgotten what he's called, but sort of a plague doctor, sort of a character. Both of those are really great animatronics.
Tonight's the night for fright!
And of course they have this little tunnel you walk through, but before I go through there, I'm going to look at the sides.
Your host is not here right now. They're busy burying something in the backyard. But we'll have loads of fun while they're gone.
So the skeleton's name is Grim. I quite like him. I also like this little clown here. I'm not quite sure what it does. It doesn't seem to be working at the moment. Not everything was in working order when I visited, but that's okay. And then we go through the tunnel, and there are some more creatures and things inside the tunnel, like this guy. So let's see what he does. So, nice animation, not a whole lot of audio. I think this guy will make some more noise. Let's flip that switch. And then around the corner, we have a character from Killer Clowns from Outer Space, who, there he goes. And then some more decorations, this nice little zombie. I quite like that. I also like this sort of half clown, this undead clown cut in half here. Let's see what she does. You know, sometimes I laugh the same way when I watch a horror movie. This guy is called Nozzles the Clown. He was not quite fully set up, but he is a nice prop. I've seen video online of what he does. Unfortunately, they didn't have the display quite ready to go. And then we have sort of a mad scientist's tunnel. Always worth wandering through the tunnel. And then this is a new one this year, this Reagan animatronic. It actually took a minute before it started working. You'll see her start to work in a moment, but I do quite like that. There's a little creepy child with a knife there that wasn't plugged in or wasn't working. And then there's this guy around the corner whose name is Mr. Dark, I believe. He also wasn't fully operational, but when he is operational, he springs up to something like 8 feet or 10 feet tall. He's a really good one as well. I'm a little disappointed the display wasn't working, but that's okay. Now here comes Reagan. And so you notice, not only does her head spin around, but she also projects the image of Pazuzu behind her. Now around the corner here, of course, the bulk of what Spirit Halloween has, in addition to the animatronics, is all the decorations, the inflatables, the posables, all different kind of stuff. They also have a costume section we'll be getting to in a moment, but I really like all of this stuff. I particularly like this stuffed dummy prop. That's a great sort of thing, so you can stuff it inside of a costume or something and use that as sort of a base for whatever sort of a dummy or prop you might be making. They also have a ton of these assorted bones and skeletons, different kinds of bony things, some skulls, some severed arms, skeletal arms, those kinds of things. Lots of tombstones and some gates. I do like all of those kinds of things. I've used some of their gates before. I prefer to make my own tombstones personally, but I've used their gates before, and they, you know, they're plastic, but they serve their purpose. They're great for a couple weeks out of the year for sure. And then, of course, more of these skeletons. This is the season for the anatomically implausible skeletal animal props, and I always kind of like those, even though my inner biologist weeps at some of the anatomy. And then they've got a lot of little hanging guys, just assorted Halloween decor. Some cutesy, some really creepy. There's something there for everybody. Some scarecrows and some zombies, some haunted dolls, or at least haunted looking dolls if you like that sort of thing. Then, you know, more severed limbs and chains and all kinds of good stuff around here. Followed, of course, by the wall of masks. If you're looking for a mask, Spirit Halloween has probably got you covered. I'm not going to say they have everything. There are some things that I've been looking for that they didn't have, but honestly, they have a ton of masks. And of course, as you'll see, a bunch of other costume things. They have accessories for your costumes. They have makeup if you're doing makeup effects. They have tubes and bottles of stage blood. Personally, I prefer to make my own. I have several recipes, and at some point I'll make a video describing my recipes, but if you just want to buy it, they have it. They also have vampire fangs and costume jewelry and wigs and various makeup kits and just whatever you could possibly want. And then about half of the store, maybe a third of the store, is just all of these costumes. They have children's costumes, adult costumes, some of them scary, some of them horror things, some of them sort of just traditional costumes, some of them obviously licensed properties. So a little bit of everything, really. They even have some Squid Game stuff, which was a interesting show. I quite liked that. Addams Family. I still love these suits. I wish I could find one with the same design, but in slightly higher quality, maybe custom fitted or something. Here's another animatronic hiding not near the front of the store, but over to the side, this monkey. And then they have toys and home decor, those Funko figurines, some jewelry and things, some lunch boxes. They really have anything that's related to horror, Halloween, that sort of stuff. They've got something. They have this wall of blankets and pillows, so if you're looking to add some spooky comfort to your home, that's a good way to go. They have these doormats, some of which I really like. And then, of all things, this is the first time I'd actually seen this at Spirit Halloween, they have a section of costumes for dogs, this spooky pooch section. I quite like that. They also have coffee mugs and just assorted things. One of my favorite sections is the Ouija section because I collect Ouija boards. I like that pillow as well. And then skulls and more assorted home decor. Really, I quite like all of this stuff, this sort of gothic, I don't know quite right the word, but I guess gothic would be the best way to describe some of these home decor items. But it's really fun stuff. If you're looking to, never mind Halloween decorations, if you're just looking for home decor for year-round, this is also the place you want to go. And then here is a section of Beware Ghosts, and this is Halloween. These are some licensed things, a lot of Nightmare Before Christmas kind of stuff. But again, just home decor for weird people like us. This mystical section, I quite like this sort of, it's sort of a Blair Witch-esque sort of wreath, but that was a really nice piece. I like this Flying Lessons broom, you know, Haunted Mansion stuff. I'm amazed that they got the license on some level for some of the Haunted Mansion stuff, but if you're a fan of the Haunted Mansion ride, they even have some of the Tombstone. Well, I would say that was a fairly successful trip. They didn't have everything out yet, but it looks like the supply chain issues have passed and they're going to have a full store full of wonderful goodies at the Spirit Halloween this year. Couple things I was looking for hadn't come in yet, but they had a lot of great stuff, so I'm pleased with that. And of course, because I always have to spend money, I got myself a Ouija board because you can never have too many Ouija boards. I'll be back another day to buy more stuff and bigger stuff when my pocketbook is slightly less strained. As a matter of fact, if you'd like to support the cause, there's a button down below the videos. You can send me some of your hard-earned money and I can waste it on Halloween decorations. So, just saying. Anyway, I'm off to do a bit more Halloween hunting. I'm going to visit a few other stores. You won't be seeing that in this video, but presumably if there's enough good stuff out there, I will make another video and I'll show you what's at some other stores, maybe Home Depot, maybe Lowe's, maybe a few other places. Probably not as many places as I go sometimes, but you can't spend a year without Halloween shopping, so I'm going to do some of that today. You'll be seeing it in a separate video, but until then, take care and stay scared.